Okay, so I'm Kat, this is Ethan, this little puppy's Remington, and tonight we're going to talk to you a little bit about new puppy basics. And that's going to include food and nutrition, some potty training, crate training. We're going to talk about toys, socialization, things that are going to make vet visits a little bit easier, developing behaviors that you want in your adult dog, some clicker training, and then we'll briefly tell you what we're going to talk about next week.
So one thing we wanted to mention is that anybody that comments throughout this live video, we're actually going to be giving away a Pet Stages wood chew. We're going to draw at the end of this video all the people that are commenting. Keep it up. We're going to try and answer any questions that we can and see how many we can get to. But we are going to give away a Pet Stages wood chew for your puppy or your dog at the end of this video. So to start off with, you're getting your new puppy home. Several things that we need to think about are food and water intake, and then also potty training or crate training. Some of those things kind of go hand in hand. But to start off with, it's important to feed a quality dog food. We feed Purina Pro Plan. We feed the 30-20 all life stages. It's a formula that works well for both puppies as well as adult dogs. Now, there are lots of different good dog foods out there. ProPlan's one that we found that works really well for us. And ultimately, what it comes down to is monitoring your puppy's weight itself. We feed approximately 2 cups of dog food to start off with young puppies like this, maybe a little bit less, and then work up to somewhere around the 3 to 4, depending on hunting season and stuff as they get older. But if your puppy starts to look fat, cut their food back a little bit. If you can see hip points and spine, you're going to want to feed them a little bit more. Try and get a little more food into them. It's more based around monitoring your puppy's weight specifically so that they can grow not too fast and not be too skinny. The next thing is when you have your puppy at home, you're going to be starting potty training. Potty training can be really, really easy with some puppies or very difficult. It kind of seems like each puppy has their own personality, and definitely some do better than others with this. Now, a couple things that we've found that would be really key points with this is to make sure and monitor the puppy's water intake. You want to make sure and watch, let's say we give you water access in the morning, you're going to need to go to the bathroom after you drink water. Now, some puppies are better at it than others, but some of your puppies are going to drink too much water. Some of the puppies are, which anytime we drink water, when we're this big especially, they're going to need to go to the bathroom maybe 10 minutes after, maybe 20 minutes after, and it's important to realize that. Now, we like to use a really old potty training technique, but we've modified it maybe a little bit to make more sense and to be more effective. So you start with the newspaper. Most of you probably heard this. You take the newspaper, you roll it up, the puppy pees on the carpet, and you bop the puppy on the nose, tell him no, take him outside and go to the bathroom. Now, one thing that we've found that's even more effective is if you take that newspaper and when your puppy pees on the floor, smack yourself in the face with the newspaper and then say, I should have paid closer attention to my puppy. It's not the puppy's fault. It's our responsibility to help them to go to the bathroom. They don't really know, and we need to be paying attention and not expect that they're going to be the same as our 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old dog that maybe just passed, or the other adult dogs that are at the house. So, all jokes aside, making sure to watch your dog very carefully. They get up, they're sniffing around, it means they need to go out to go to the bathroom. If they just had food and water, they're going to have to go to the bathroom. So if you keep those things, watch those things pretty closely, watch your puppy closely, you're going to have a lot of success with potty training.
One other thing that I just wanted to throw in there is anytime your puppy's taking a nap, sleeping on the couch, cuddling with you, or comes out of their crate after a nap, that's also when they're going to need to go potty, because they wake up and their bladder gets moving and they need to go potty. So taking them out right away instead of letting them run around in your house is going to help with potty accidents.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another thing that's going to be important for young puppies is crate training. Your dog's going to probably travel in a crate, especially when you're going hunting. It's going to be a good, safe place for your puppy when you're gone. You get some
I'm just trying to read some of the questions that might have come up.
Okay, so the crate's going to be a safe place, and we want to develop it that way. We don't want to use the crate as a form of punishment or as a timeout per se. The dog needs to be comfortable. Your puppy needs to be comfortable, and make sure that we know that the crate is a comfortable place to sleep and stay. And that also means while you're at the house, they can take those naps. They don't have to take their nap on the couch. Puppy's winding down and ready to take a nap. They can, unlike Remington here, who's wired, you can put them in the crate to take that nap versus we get lots of really cute pictures of puppies taking naps on the couch or in the sun, and that's all fine, but it would be better for the puppy to learn that it's that nap is a comfortable place to, the crate is a comfortable place to take that nap.
So we've got a couple questions that have popped up, so I think we're going to take a few minutes to answer some of those. First question is from Jeremy Gibbs. He asked, recommendations for infatuations with rugs, accidents on rugs only, other than just picking up that rug.
Okay, so it's a good question. With the rug itself, sometimes the rug itself could smell a little like urine still. It maybe became a spot. The puppy or the dog doesn't want to go to the bathroom in the house, and they try and find something. This happens even with the little puppies. When we've got them playing in the kitchen, sometimes we'll lay a towel down where their water's at. And once they drink all the water, I might pick that dish up, but the towel stays down on the ground, and the puppies will run over to pee on that towel. That can happen on occasion. It's because they want to be cleaner and they don't want to pee on the floor, but they need to go to the bathroom somewhere. Now, once that rug has been peed on a couple times, even if you've washed it, urine crystals and stuff like that are really hard to get out without a specific urine destroying product. One that we use it's called Nature's Miracle Urine Off or Urine
Destroyer, I think.
Urine Destroyer. So you could throw that in with the wash to try and clean that rug up and get rid of that smell. And other than that, again, it comes back to keeping an eye on the puppy or the dog and saying, making sure that you can stop them in the act, or if your dog's getting older and still doing it, like it sounds like is happening, you get after them a little bit and show them, no, that's not acceptable. Let's go outside and go to the bathroom. So.
Another thing too is if you know that that's a habit, that the puppy is going over or the dog's going over and just peeing on that rug, then watch for that behavior, and before the behavior happens of them squatting and peeing on the rug, take them out so that you start to build a conditioned response that, hey, you're getting ready to pee, you think you need to pee, we go outside to do that.
Okay, so we got two other comments here about using we got a puppy that's having issues eating mulch and chewing on mulch, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. And then another question about integrating new puppies with older dogs. But then tying right in with the potty training here, we've got, have you ever used bells as a way to indicate that they need to go out and go to the bathroom? And then I've actually got two comments with that, using a bell on the back door. Yes, so bells are also a really good idea. It allows you to, it basically allows the puppy to tell you, because a lot of times puppies are going to be quieter, especially the dogs that we breed. We try and breed dogs that aren't overly noisy. Some dogs bark more than others, but it becomes a situation where the puppy they go to the door, but
you didn't see or you didn't hear them, and then they pee on the rug.
Exactly. So the bell is a good thing, and we have actually taught quite a few dogs with the bell. Just be consistent with it. To start off with, you can use their paw, touch the bell, take them outside, and then start to play with the bell yourself until you kind of get them to either bump it with their nose or their paw. And as they get older, they're going to learn two things. One, that the bell means I can go outside and go to the bathroom, and it tells you. And they will also eventually learn that the bell means I go outside. So if you got a puppy that's bored or a dog that's bored and says, I just want to go outside to play, they're going to be over there ringing that bell. So it is definitely a good way to start out a puppy, and then I'd probably get rid of it as the dog gets older. But good questions, good questions. So what do we got next here?
You were talking a little bit about crate training. Did you finish up on that topic?
Crate training is important.
Okay. A lot of people think that crates are punishments for the puppy, and they're not in any way a punishment. The puppies actually will feel comfortable and safe in that place. They just need to understand that they don't get out every time they scream and cry. So if you put your puppy that has just gone out to go potty in a crate and he starts crying, don't just take him out right away, because he's going to learn that, hey, I just cry and holler and I'm going to get out of this crate right away. Let him settle down. It might take 5-10 minutes. It might take 20 minutes the first time. Put on some headphones, ignore it. Once he settles down, reward him by going getting him and taking him out to potty, and then get to play inside for a little bit. Another thing to remember with crate training is the puppy shouldn't always go in the crate only when you're going to work and leaving.
Exactly.
So they need to spend some time in the crate while you're maybe making dinner or trying to get some laundry done or vacuuming the floor, and you just need them out of your hair for a little bit. Then they don't think that I go in the crate and mom and dad leave, so the crate is bad. I'm still with my family when I'm in the crate sometimes, so it's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that we see with, we get some calls, or we get people say, my dog has anxiety with the crate, and they don't want to go in there, and all they do is howl and cry, and that anxiety is developed most of the time by the only time the dog goes in the crate is when the family leaves, and then they associate the crate itself with being left alone rather than a place of comfort. So making sure the dogs feel comfortable, your puppy feels comfortable in its crate from day one, is going to really cut down on those things. So.
And one last thing about crate training, and it only doesn't have to do with puppies, is some people say, oh, well, how long does my puppy even have to stay in there? Can I just leave my puppy or my 6-year-old dog out all the time once they're an adult? Well, you can, but they may decide to chew up your couch one day. I mean, I see horror stories on Facebook all the time of what their dog destroyed while they were gone. It's not your dog being vindictive that they're being left alone. It's your dog being bored and finding something to entertain itself with. So even our adult dogs don't get left to free reign of the house when we're gone. They're in a crate so that we don't come home to a destroyed house.
Yeah. So a little bit of a segue, but it's a dog has a mental capacity, at maximum of a 3-year-old child. So we need to kind of keep it in perspective that way. Am I going to leave a 3-year-old baby, boy or girl, whatever, to entertain themselves all day? And the answer is usually no. I mean, it's not safe. They're going to do something potentially to hurt themselves, or now a lot of dogs do. They live out in the house and they behave themselves, but then there's that one time you come home and they were bored, so they chewed the leg off the couch, or ripped a hole in the cushions, or
dug the carpet up. There's so many horror stories, we can not even list them all. But
or even worse, swallowed something that then they end up in the emergency room because they're sick. So.
Yeah. So that kind of, I guess, do we have any other questions we need to hit on right now?
We got one comment that is a very good point. Someone mentioned they found that putting a towel or a sheet to kind of block in or make the crate dark when they are home definitely helps. So covering the crate to help the puppy think that it's darker at night, or they can't necessarily see what's going on in the room. So very good point. Thanks, Jeremy.
So talking a little bit, there was a comment question up here from Kelly Hill about wanting to eat mulch and any wood, any hints to discourage that, and how worried about it should I really be? There's always the potential that your puppy could eat too big of a piece, and it could cause like an intestinal blockage or any other type of problem. So we do recommend, if you want to take him for a little bit, he's been chewing on his toy if he wants that.
Correct.
So trying to keep him away from those things, especially because there are some mulches out there that are actually made of cocoa plants, and that would be very dangerous for your dog to eat a bunch of cocoa shells and things. So we recommend specific toys. Speaking of wood and things like that, dogs really like wood. And that's one of the things we're giving away. We're going to draw a name from all the comments and give away a Pet Sages compressed wood chew. This one has been chewed on. You will get a new one. But They're basically compressed shredded wood, put back into the shape of a stick, and they last forever. And the dogs really like them. It helps clean their teeth. Dogs love the wood flavoring because they're always trying to chew on sticks and mulch and things like that. So we recommend these. They come in a couple different sizes. They're small, medium, and large. And normally we just use the mediums, and they're perfect for puppies and adult dogs. And they last a very long time. Another thing that we really recommend for chew toys, things like that, to occupy your puppy, which Remington has been going to town on this because he's a little antsy in his pants right now. But this is a Nylabone edible chew. It's not made out of rawhide, but they love to chew on it. There's beef flavor, chicken flavor. He goes, I want it back. And they just chew on them. There's puppy size and large size and medium size again with this. The puppy ones last a really long time for the little puppies. Now, if you got this size and gave it to your adult dog, they would crunch, gone in a few minutes. Holly, one of our females in the house right now, has got a hold of some of the puppy ones and destroyed them pretty quickly. And then another thing that we recommend is just a plain old rope toy. These are really fun for the puppy to play tug of war with you. I know that can sometimes be a controversial issue, is playing tug of war with your dogs. And we actually recommend playing tug of war because it really builds a natural, strong hold for retrieving. So you can play tug with your puppy, take the toy, toss it down the hall. Your puppy grabs it, brings it back because they know they're going to get to play this really fun tug of war game when they come back. So you play tug of war again, take it from them, toss it down the hall again. A few toys that we don't recommend past, little puppy stage, which we have squeaky toys with our puppies when they're this age, and then when they go home or at about 8 weeks, the squeaky toys go away. And the reason for that is with hunting dogs especially, which is most of the people probably on here have hunting dogs, but birds make squeaking noises. So we don't want the puppies to squeak the squeaky toy and then go out and retrieve a bird and it squeaks, and then they go, this is so fun, I have one of these toys at home, and then they go squeak, squeak, squeak and start munching your birds. So we don't recommend squeaky toys, especially as the puppy gets older. And another thing that we don't recommend are tennis balls. And I know that there's those fun chuckets and things like that out there, but the reason that we don't recommend tennis balls is kind of twofold. One is it also can create sloppy retrieving because it's round and the dog rolls the ball in their mouth and chews it and rolls it and chews it and rolls it. And we want a nice solid hold where they're not mouthing the ball, the bird, the bumper, anything that we're retrieving. And then the other reason is a tennis ball's got a lot of bounce. So a puppy can really entertain themselves with a tennis ball, and we want those retrieving toys to not be something they can entertain themselves with, where they bring the retrieving toy, the ball back to you and like throw it at you, and then it pings off the wall and then they go chase it down again. It really creates some sloppy retrieving habits.
Yeah, some of the dogs that we get in for training, and they say, well, they're pretty sloppy or they're pretty hard mouth, chew the birds a lot and stuff. We start asking questions, well, what kind of games do they play? Are they a pretty good retriever otherwise? And most of the time what comes up is, yeah, they fetch the tennis ball perfect every time. They come back and drop it at my feet. And tennis balls seem to be a really, really, really good developer of bad retrieving habits. So
I just want to make sure that we've hit on some of these other questions.
You said, so as far as with the mulch, we kind of got off that a little bit, just with wood chews. But yes, I would try and discourage it a little bit. I wouldn't be overly worried about it, but for the most part, he needs to eventually learn. And this is an idea that, or a mindset that we try and go into with puppies, is anything that they're doing, we want to develop the habits that we want to see out of them as adults. So yes, he's a puppy. Yes, he's trying to get into stuff and play and entertain himself, but is chewing up the mulch and digging in the flower pits something that we want to see out of him even as he gets older? 1, 2, 3. Usually the answer would be no. So yes, I would try and discourage that. Just come up with something to distract him. Give him another toy. Play tug with him.
Redirect his focus by doing some of those other things. Because right now he's just focused on the mulch and what he's not supposed to be getting into. The same can be said for chewing up shoes. They always go and grab the shoe and carry it around and then lay down and chew on it. Well, we don't want to discourage the picking up a shoe and bringing it to you, so trade them for their rope toy or something they can have, but it's a hassle if you always have to put up your shoes. So they do need to understand that the shoes are off limits, and as the puppy starts to get a little bit older, you can get after them a little bit, and no, don't pick those up. You get your rope toy, this is what you can play with in the house, or your stick, this is what you can play with in the house, not our shoes, not the mulch in the backyard, not digging in the flower pots, things like that.
Exactly. So we've had a couple questions about introducing or integrating was the word that was used to. Introducing the new puppy to the older dog, the 1.5-year-old dog, the 2-year-old dog. How do we bring the new puppy into the family? And I don't believe that there should be a time frame or specific time that the puppy has to interact with the new house or anything else. The most important part is to monitor the time together. Some dogs, especially in that 15-month range, could play too rough with the little puppy. So it's about showing both of them how to play together appropriately. If you've got an older dog that's not necessarily as excited about the new puppy, we hear that a lot, that old Molly, she keeps grumping at the puppy because the puppy's pulling on her ears and whatever. You need to help both of them to understand how they need to interact together. We don't believe in they'll sort it out, they'll establish their roles, or Molly will put that puppy in its place. All of those things cause more of a trickle effect.
Lead to more bad behaviors.
So the old dog then teaches the new puppy that how we deal with situations is aggression. We say, I don't want to play with this anymore. I don't want to play with this other dog at the dog park or wherever it is. And then they snap at that dog because they learned it from the old dog. So to answer the question, we would start right away, but monitor it. If the puppy's picking on the old dog, you tell the puppy, knock it off. You as pack leaders and as the
head of the clan,
head of the pack in the group, need to be the one to make the decisions and to help them to get along together.
And monitor their interactions. Don't leave them alone unattended. I mean, we've heard of horror stories of, a puppy getting bit and losing an eye and things like that shouldn't have happened because they should have been, monitored during those interactions, especially right away when it's new for both the old dog and the puppy, because the puppy is much more likely to get hurt by the bigger, older dog, even if it's just rough play, or if the dog really is aggressive and chomps at him, or just startles the puppy, and then you've got a puppy that's really timid around other dogs and scared. It doesn't always create a more aggressive puppy. Sometimes it creates a little timid, scared puppy.
So to wrap that up together, introduce them right away, but make sure you're monitoring it, and then also helping to discipline or to show both dogs how that they need to respect each other's space and to interact with each other. Not playing too rough, not grumping, and then not being that pesky little puppy. So next, I think we've got...
Ashley had one question too.
Another question here about how to prevent dogs fighting
through the fence, like in a kennel run. I think you're probably talking about between kennel runs, like chain link or something like that.
So a lot of that is more of a way to entertain themselves, and sometimes it gets out of hand, just like if the dogs are wrestling or playing.
It escalates.
It escalates. Now, in our kennel runs or our kennel panels, we actually put up privacy panels so they can't see each other. It's we use it's HDP or high density polyethylene is what that stands for. Basically, heavy duty plastic as a barrier, a sight barrier, so the dogs can't see each other. That's going to be the easiest way if you've got multiple dogs that spend a little time in the kennel run or something while you're at work, to keep them from playing and fighting. And that's exactly why we have that, so that the dogs aren't fence fighting or playing. Now, it happens just the same in the yard. If you've got two dogs, you want to hold them for playing. Yep. So if you've got two dogs that are wrestling and playing, or even in the house, it can escalate. It was just like when I was a little kid. I had three brothers, I guess, and we would wrestle, and sometimes it would get a little out of hand, and it's just all a matter of stuff escalates like that. So if you see that happening, you need to stop it, and in a situation where you aren't going to necessarily be there to stop it in kennel runs during the day or things like that, privacy panels are going to really cut down on that. So, good question.
So I think we're caught up on our questions, so we're going to move on to another topic, a very important topic that we think everyone should do with their puppy and your older dogs is socialization. And when we say socialization, we don't mean just, oh, my puppy gets to play with kids, they're socialized. There's a lot that goes into socializing a puppy, and really it basically falls into new experiences for that puppy. The more new experiences that they can experience,
Yeah.
the better, because then when they do come to a kennel for training or go to board somewhere, that is, yes, new to them, but they've already handled so many new situations it doesn't even cause a hiccup. They just don't, no biting. Then they can just settle in fast because they've already experienced so many new things. So we talk about socialization, going for walks in tall grass because you're going to have your hunting dog. Your turn.
Got it.
Your hunting dog that's going to want to break them into cover. You don't want them just hunting on a path or something. Other things, socialization, holding the puppy on his back. It's new, it's different. He's going to have to get used to it. Playing with their paws, looking at their nails, looking at their teeth and their ears. Those are things that you can do to socialize your puppy, make them more tolerant, which is going to make nail trimming much easier, vet visits much easier. You're going to have a puppy that's used to those things, so going to the vet isn't going to be a fight. Trimming nails, I know that I've had a lot of questions about trimming nails, but if you work with your puppy right from the start, even if, like, he just had his nails trimmed, they don't need to be trimmed again, but you can go ahead and put him on his back, play with his nails, even take the nail trimmer or the grinder, just touch his nail like you're doing it, but just getting him used to.
I'm guessing he's going to go.
He probably has to go potty. We'll take a quick puppy potty break, but I'll keep talking about socialization. So getting him used to those things is going to make vet visits, nail trimming and grooming, things like that, a lot easier. Some other socialization things that we really stress is like going to dog parks and interacting with other dogs, going into PetSmart or Tractor Supply, places that you can take your dog and your puppy. And then, sorry, I saw a question and I think somebody actually answered it for us on there. But other socialization things, running across a floor from carpet to linoleum to hardwood, those are all different things that your puppy has to experience, going up and down stairs. The more things you can basically throw at your puppy in a safe way, the better. Car rides is huge. I mean, you think about it, you get your puppy home from the breeder, and that's their car ride. Some breeders, like we, have taken the puppies usually on car rides prior to them going home, but then you bring your puppy home, and then it doesn't ride in the car again until you take it to a trainer later or one vet visit or something like that. Car rides might be a little more traumatic. So going on a few car rides, those things are going to be really important. There's tons of things that you can do to socialize your dog, and those things are going to make vet visits better, taking care of them better, as well as when you get ready to send your puppy off for training, if you decide to do that, they're going to settle into the kennel and the new routine there a lot faster. They're going to eat right away, they're going to be bold and confident, and they're going to be ready to train instead of needing a week or 2 weeks to settle in and get comfortable with the situation, because they're used to new things. So this is new and it's fun and it's exciting, not scary and oh my gosh, I can't handle this. Let me quick double check on some of the questions that we just had. So Rick, you asked, what do you feed your new puppy? And Jeremy, you just went ahead and answered that, and that's exactly right. We feed the Purina Pro Plan. It's the purple bag, and it's called All Life Stages. It's a 30-20 mix. Any just tips for discouraging mouthing, biting in younger dogs? So that kind of goes hand in hand with my next topic, which is developing behaviors you're going to want in your adult dog. So you don't want your adult dog to bite you, and puppies have really sharp puppy teeth, and they nip and they bite. He was trying to bite me, and I'm not going to allow that now. Even if it doesn't really hurt, It's not a good behavior that I want him to be exhibiting. So if he's biting on me, I'm going to tell him no. And then if he keeps it up, I'm going to grab his little muzzle and give him a little shake and get a little growlier with him and tell him no. And if he still is going to keep biting me and be aggressive about it, I might even pin him on his side and hold him there until he submits. These are all dominance things that we're talking about. Just like if he was in a pack and he was attacking the alpha male, they're going to put them in their place. But like we said, we don't want your dogs to do that. We want to be the alpha, and we're going to put him in his place if he's going to continue biting and bad behaviors like that and mouthing. Yep. That includes other behaviors like jumping up on you. He's a cute little puppy and he weighs practically nothing right now, but when he gets older and he's a 60-pound dog and he jumps up on you, that's not going to be as cute. He could knock down little kids, as well as if you're in your Sunday clothes and he's got muddy paws, that's not going to make you very happy. So not allowing him to jump up as a puppy is going to help develop the behavior of him not doing that as an adult. We need to be really consistent with what we expect from our puppy. So if we expect them not to bite us, we can't really ever let them bite us. If we don't want them jumping up on us, we can't let them jump up on us. Couch is a big thing. So if you let your puppy hang out on the couch with you now because they're little and cute, it's really going to be difficult to tell them now at 6 months or 8 months or a year that now the couch is off limits. Or the couch is only off limits sometimes. So being very consistent with what your expectations are, what your house rules are, is going to be really important.
Get on the same page as a family so that everybody knows and everybody's being consistent. The lack of consistency is going to be the hardest thing for your puppy to understand and learn. I can do this one time and I can't do this the other time. None of it will make sense. So we got a couple other questions. These will definitely be things that we're going to go into more detail down the road on. Right now we've got
in other videos, not probably tonight.
Yeah, but. Yeah. Tips for encouraging swimming water entries. It's definitely something that you want to introduce to them at a young age and set them up for success. Warm water, get in the water with them. That's going to be a big part of it. But that'll be something that we'll probably cover a little later this summer. Next, we've got if your dog's been trained at a kennel, started or finished, what's the best way to resettle them into the family routine and life? That's a good question. It's definitely something that we'll keep in mind for another evening too, Nick. We're gonna try to keep it on puppies right here tonight. But next thing we've got, Kat, is
clicker training. I think.
Training. Yep. So
we use a clicker to mark behaviors. I'll grab a clicker here real quick. So this is the clickers we use. You can hear what it sounds like. So basically what a clicker does is it's consistent every time. Instead of your puppy doing something right and you say, good boy, that a boy, yes, perfect, yes, good job, which is different every time. And even your inflection and your tone can be different every time. This is the same. So when we're talking about consistency is really important in dog training, this helps you be 100% consistent. The more consistent you are, the faster he's going to learn. So the first thing you need to do with your clicker is make the noise important because he doesn't know what this noise means or why it's a good thing. So to do that, we charge the clicker, which I don't know if he'll eat kibble or not, but we usually use dog kibble or we use some kind of treat. I'm actually going to use shredded cheese. He's pretty little and we're just starting this out. So what I will do is click and give him his little piece of cheese and let him eat it. Yum, yum, yum.
You want to make sure that your treats, keep going, you want to make sure that your treats are small and easy for the dogs to eat. Now, as he gets a little bit older, we'll use 99% his dog food. You can do these training sessions and clicker training sessions at mealtime. It's a really good time to spend 5-10 minutes working with the puppy. They're ready to eat and they're ready to work.
He's ready for this cheese.
But it's something that they can eat quickly. You don't want to use large treats where it takes 20-30 seconds for them to chew it up. So
yeah, you want it to be pretty quick so that you can move on to the next one and accomplish more in your training session instead of half his time spent eating the treat than getting the training done. So I'm clicking, he's getting food, clicking, getting food or the treat. Once he starts to perk his ears up and look for the food when he hears this noise, that indicates that the clicker is charged, and he knows that that noise means a reward is coming.
Exactly.
This may not happen in the first session. Every puppy is different. He is really ready for food, but I don't think he still understands that the clicker means that he's getting food. We're also past his dinner time, so it could be a little bit of hunger for him too. But then once the clicker is charged, you can work on one specific behavior. We recommend picking a behavior and sticking with it until he fully understands that behavior, because asking for too many things at once is just going to confuse him. So sit is a really common thing to teach right off the bat with a little puppy. Recall, so coming when you call, is another thing that's really common to start off with a puppy. And then going in a crate or laying down. There's tons of things that you can teach a puppy with the clicker. But you can't say sit and expect him to sit because he has no idea what that word means. So what you need to do is be patient and wait until his little butt sits on the ground. Once his butt sits on the ground, you click, give him the reward. He will pick up on it pretty quickly that, hey, this behavior is getting me a reward, so I'm going to do it again. Again, it might take a couple sessions for you to get to the point where he's sitting fairly consistently so that you can mark those behaviors. There are little tips and tricks to get your puppy to sit. We don't ever want to bait our dog. So if we're working on recall and you want your puppy to come to you, you get your little treat out and be like, come on, puppy, come on, I got a treat. Because then he's going to learn that the only time he comes to mom and dad is when he sees the treat in the hand.
You got the hand in the cookie jar.
Yep. So he gets the reward after he does the behavior, not to coax him into doing the behavior. So then you can introduce the cue once he's consistently exhibiting the behavior. Then you can ask for him to sit. Once he does sit, click, gets the treat. Once he is sitting consistently when you ask for the behavior and is showing really good understanding of that behavior, you could move on to a new behavior that you're asking for.
Yep.
Another thing that we really do is intermittent rewards.
Variable
reinforcement. Yep. There you go. There's the word. Where your puppy does what you're asking and they don't get a reward every single time. We like to say that puppies are gamblers. They're going to keep playing the game until they win. So they didn't win this time, but they're going to come and they're going to sit next time because there's a chance they're going to get a reward. That way, if you don't always have a treat on you, you can still expect the behavior to happen.
It's important to know that each dog's going to be different with this, though, too. So, for instance, they use a lot of clicker training and stuff in zoos to kind of keep dogs' or animals' minds occupied and help them to have a happier, healthier life. And cats, you can get a very, very, very small number of reinforcements to happen. You can do like 2 reps and they're done. Some dogs are going to be able to do a lot more. It depends on age and the level of understanding, but some dogs are going to be able to do 5, 10 reps. Some dogs are going to be able to do 20, 30 reps. You kind of have to play that by ear, and you want to try and quit prior to them getting bored with it. That's going to be the most important part, is keeping focus. Now, you want to move into that variable reinforcement, though. Otherwise, you're going to have a dog that only will come when you get the treat out. Or
when he knows that you have treats.
Yep. Or you ask for something one time when you don't have treats, and he says, well, Dad doesn't have a treat, and so now I'm not going to listen anymore. It's a key part of the process is variable reinforcement. So, we got any more comments?
A question about the clicker. So, at what age do you stop using a clicker for training? No age. Puppy. Yeah. I mean, you're right. So I'm not 100% if you were asking, so every time you ask for sit, even if they're 6 years old and they've known how to sit for 6 years, you need to use the clicker? No. Once they show that they're responding to the cue sit, clicker goes away. But you can continue teaching an old dog new tricks forever. There's so many tricks out there that you can teach a dog, rolling over, laying down, shaking. You can probably come up with 100 more of your own tricks, but so you can keep using the clicker to train your adult dogs. It's something fun to do in the evenings with your dog, or when it's cold out or raining out and you can't get outside. You can teach a new behavior. The more behaviors that they learn, the faster that they're going to pick up on something new too, because they understand the clicker is great, I'm going to get rewarded, and I'm going to learn how to do this new behavior for the treats. Do we have, I don't think we have any other questions that we haven't hit on, and I think we've pretty much covered all of the topics that we planned on this evening.
Yep.
We are going to try, I'm going to just mention, we have to go through and write down names. I did not expect this many comments. This was our first live video that we did like this, so I'm going to have to cut up a few more pieces of paper here so that we can do our drawing. Like I said, for every comment we're going to do a drawing for a Pet Stages chew. It's a compressed wood stick. We're going to get you a new one and send it out to you, but this is what they are. They're great for even puppies, adult dogs, anything like that. But I just need to cut up some more paper so that I can get...
We had a couple other little questions. I think we missed them in the beginning from Carl. He asked, whose puppy is this? This little puppy belongs to a gentleman in Texas. No?
He moved to Florida.
He's
from Florida now.
Gentleman in Florida, and he will go out this next week. So little Remington is still Remington until his name gets changed, I think. But he will be moving to Florida here pretty soon. So we got several here. Do you want to do this while we're on the video, or do you want to stop it and just post it in the comments who wins? Or?
Well, how many do we have? Count them quick.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay, well, that's fine. I think that we can quick do it.
All right. So we've got Carl, and then Peter, Jeremy, Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm just putting last initials. So
Kelly Hill, Tyler Homlinger, we got Carl and Jeremy and Heather.
Okay.
Nick Fraser.
I know, buddy. You've had a long weekend, and we've expected a lot of patience from you.
Ashley Hammer. Rick Fraser.
Hold on.
And this squirmy little butt did have to go to the bathroom, so it was important that we did get him out. Pay attention to the fact that he was being squirmier than normal. We got Rick.
Yep, Stephanie.
And we got Laura on there.
Oh, buddy, I know. You probably have
John.
Heather.
Heather's already in there.
Oh, no, that was a different Heather. It was a Heather Mead, I thought.
Just a second longer, buddy.
I know.
Heather Burns.
And Logan.
And then we got one more question. We will probably do this live feed about once. We hope to do it once a week or once every other week.
It depends on our schedules and training and things like that, but we really want to try and do them that often.
I know next week we're planning on doing a summer safety tips. It'll probably be on Sunday again, just about the same time, 7 o'clock. And
we will post something on Facebook, though, like we did prior to this one, so that you know when to tune in.
But try and cover some different things about the heat and how to help take care of your dogs throughout the summer. Everything that's going to be going on, traveling, the lake, fireworks, everything. So definitely tune in for that. But we will throw these bad boys in here, shake them around a little bit.
Should we let Remington pick? We have Carl K. Sorry, I didn't check what your last name was.
Klein, I think.
Carl Klein, I think.
Top one.
Carl Klein. So we will message you to get your mailing address so that we can get that sent out to you. And then also, if you guys ever have other topics, we're going to go back through these questions because I think there was a couple topics that we can expound on later. But you can always message us if there's something you guys really want to hear about, and we can try and fit it into our schedule. So, Carl, make sure that if we don't get a hold of you, you get a hold of us so that we can get you your Pet Stages too.
Absolutely. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you. We'll see you next time.